Shout out to Hoops Jargon, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoops Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
Shout out to Hoop Jargon. Shout out to the
Jargon,
family.
man. Shout out to Boxden.com. Shout out to Most Sports Talk.
Shout out to Hoop Jargon once again, man. Thank you for all y'all on this live stream. And let's get into the content, man. So as I always lead in with, let me do the YouTube stuff first. I gotta train myself to keep doing this, man. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, man, if y'all hit that subscribe button and the notification bell when I come live with these videos, or just put a video out pre-recorded, you can hear it first. Help grow the channel. We are 190 subscribers away from being monetized at 1,000. So if you can help me out, spread the word, I'd appreciate it big time. So let's get into the content, man. So unless you've been hiding under a rock, you've heard the story of WNBA player Liz Cambage. She got she basically had a situation with the opposing coach on the Connecticut Sun. His name is actually Kurt Miller. And so he made a comment to a referee as far as like a foul that could have been subjective or what have you. That is because that she is so, about her size, basically. So, and that's kind of turned into a very controversial things. And I want to attack this from a lot of different ways and really break it down from the way I perceive it, the way I see it. Okay. All right. So before we do that, shout out to Marcina. What's up? What's up? How you doing? Appreciate you joining the stream. All right. So now, and so after that situation got reported, she went to social media and voiced her displeasure about the situation. And her words was, I quote, "I would never let a man disrespect me, especially not a little white man." And so, and I'm going to address that. So, Coach Miller had went on to make a statement saying, "I made an inappropriate and offensive comment in reference to Liz's height and weight." He wrote, "I regret what I said in the heat of the moment, and I want to sincerely apologize to Liz and the entire ACES organization. I understand the gravity of my words and have learned from this." So Miller said he had spoken with Liz's agent and the general manager. So he's basically doing his little mea culpa routine. And Coach also went on to say, as a leader, words matter. It was inappropriate. He said, in the league where we empower women, I spent 31 years empowering women. The words were not acceptable. And so, and they have a few footnotes, and I do want to make sure the whole story is out before I give my opinion. The 6'8" player said she weighs 235 pounds, which is really good to be 6'8". She looks a little chunky to me, but I think if she's being truthful about that's very healthy weight for that size. She says Miller comment was far different than usual player-to-player trash talk. For a coach and another team to be yelling like protected abuse because you can do nothing back, it's crazy to me, she said. Yeah, so it just goes more about the punishment. So here's the thing, guys. Man, what up, Joe? Shout out Hoop Jargon member Joseph High. All right, a few things, guys. And here's the thing. When you're a coach, you're a male coach in the WNBA, you don't get to talk to women like you talk to men, bro. You got to understand it, man. I spent 1 year coaching middle school girls basketball. And it's funny. Well, no, let me not lie. I was very much more aggressive than the other girls' coaches because I didn't believe in treating them easy because they're women, because they're girls. I didn't believe in that shit. And what a lot of the coaches felt pressure was to coddle women players, well, girl players. We talking middle school here. I didn't. I treat them damn near just like I did my men. And what I mean by that, I did not let them talk when I was instructing or when coach was instructing. You talk back, you go run. You don't like it, have a fucking nice day. Go put your clothes on. Bye. I don't need you. You understand what I'm saying? And that's just the way I ran it. But I do understand in that WNBA world, you can't be like that. I'm gonna give a swift example of that. Cynthia Cooper, who I've interviewed on this channel. Cynthia Cooper, like we all know, that's about the female Michael Jordan. She would talk to her girls like dogs. And that ain't nothing different from how men were. So to give background, why I have a little credibility in this aspect, when I played basketball at Prairie View A&M University, shout out to PV. Cynthia Cooper, it was her first year taking over the women's team. And she would talk to them crazy. I saw it firsthand. Talk to them crazy. But to juxtapose it correctly, it wasn't too much different than how the men coaches did us. It wasn't a lot of difference. But in the women's sphere, it was too much, and that's why she really can't hold a job, in my opinion, on that level, because she expects Cooper's gonna come in there like Jordan. She's gonna come in there like Kobe. She's gonna talk to you like you're nothing because she believes in the tear down, the build up process. And what you find in a women coaching sphere, that's not necessarily welcomed. So if you're a guy in this women's coaching sector, you're gonna have to bend the knee. He said, empowering women. So name me a single coach in the history of the NBA who says we're in the business of empowering men. No, you're here to play a goddamn sport. You understand what I'm saying? And this is kind of where the WNBA, they just don't understand how this diminished their product to the normal consumer. The normal consumer watches these little inner workings of the WNBA, and generally we understand that you got to handle little kids' gloves. Meaning you can't say the same shit you would say at an NBA player because you would feel like retribution or what have you. And so this kind of ties into the age-old message about should women get paid the same as men and all this stuff. I think it was a meme out with LeBron James and Sue Bird with their accomplishments and what have you. And not to take away from Sue Bird a hooper. I mean, I think we all can understand that. Donna Taurasi, hoopers. But fundamentally, most people do not watch the WNBA is because you don't want to watch a sport and handle it with kid gloves. You want to watch it and be brutal as you are with any other sport you watch. So what she does not understand, Liz, that is when you go and do shit like this, all you're doing is showing that it's a weaker product. Ain't the same. Because imagine, let's juxtapose it correctly. If the players that we don't like in the NBA, they're guys who flop, cry about referees, cry about, just bitching. Generally speaking, when you do those kind of things, that is not land favorably to male audiences. So if the WNBA wants to be on this equal playing field, which you got to generate the same income, which means the viewership has to go up, right? So if we understand that fundamentally, we can't have y'all can't have little shit like that. You can't be upset that some coach is bitching to the referee calling you fat. Because man, if any hoopers is on this channel watching this thread, or you play sports or whatever, man, you hear all kind of crazy shit when you playing the game at a relatively high level, man. And so if a referee is insinuating you're fat, and that offended you so much that you want to go and get him suspended, listen, man. Listen. You don't want no parts of the male sphere, man. You don't want no part of the NBA, NCAA high level. Like you don't want no part of that because it gets way worse. They look up your shit on your background. They look up your history. They call you ain't shit. Y'all see what they did to Charlamagne the God did to Kwame Brown, Bob, how his family, he had 2 killers in his family, his dad and his brother. Like it gets the water get real deep. The water get hella deep. You understand what I'm saying? Like Paul Pierce, when he got stabbed in that nightclub, how fans showed up to the game with like a dummy, with like a retractable knife with a Paul Pierce jersey on, with blood all over, getting stabbed. Like it gets real. It gets real. Y'all remember Vernon Maxwell jumping to the stands because a fan made a comment about his daughter who had like cancer or some shit like that? Went there and cleaned his clock. So, and these are, more of the over-exaggerated stories. But I mean, Russell Westbrook had the dude, who he said calling the N-word. I don't know if that's true or not, but dog, like it gets way worse than that. And if this is a huge problem that a coach insinuate that you're overweight, that does not land favorably to men who want to patronize your sport, what ultimately is going to get you paid more. So you got to put your big girl panties on, man. Sorry. Players get called fat all the time. What's the big man? Shaquille O'Neal went above getting called fat. You understand what I'm saying? So who are you to say? Now, let me say this. It is off-putting for an athlete to be called something by the assistant. So I understand her frustration. I do. I get that. The assistant coach says anything about me. I mean, the opposing coach, rather. You can say, oh, he's slow. And I would get offended. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I would get mad. What I would not do is make a big deal of it after the fact. Now, in the moment, yeah, it'll be a problem. But after the fact, like, he supposed to try to talk me out of my game. I would understand it and move the fuck on. I would move the fuck on. So I don't understand how she's going this tirade. And then, so then in her quote was saying that I'm not going to let a man ever disrespect me, especially not a small white man. And that's why I try to teach you, brother, stop getting so encapsulated in that woke shit. That woke shit will have you all ups and downs, topsy-turvy, man. So she making it now a racial thing. Because what does that mean? So when you show that that's the way you view it, that shows there's an insecurity inside. So y'all got to stop following these goddamn athletes, man. These athletes don't know if they're coming or going, man. Not all of them, but most of them. And I tell people all the time, let's keep it a beam. Me being a former athlete, a lot of my teammates weren't smart guys. Not like that. Not like in real life. Athletes, using either extra tutorial sessions and shit like that. I just happened to be a smart guy playing, so I didn't really need all that shit. But a lot of my teammates, man, it's a good thing they can put a ball through a hoop, man. They weren't particularly bright guys. You understand what I'm saying? And so when you see these athletes going on these tirades and bitching, you got to watch who you latch your wheels onto, because you can be latching your wheels onto somebody who's not that bright. You understand what I'm saying? So I thought that was interesting that she brought up that caveat and just showed, she felt like in a defensive position. And that you, this big 6'8" woman, felt so small because some white dude said you look overweight, or he insinuated you were overweight. Put your goddamn big girl shorts on, man. Come on now. They need a better marketing strategy to create individual personalities the NBA does. Well, I think that is partially true. I think you can see they have a pretty good marketing team. The problem is the product is not there. At the end of the day, the product is not there. So they do a good job of latching on to liberal, modern women things, which, I mean, hell, that's who you got to appeal to. But you just cannot expect the average man to latch on to that too. So you kind of gotta pick your poison. If you're about this extremely liberal women empowerment thing, no problem. Just you got to know that the average man does not identify with that. the average man don't like when the NFL wears the pink breast cancer awareness shit on their jerseys and stuff. The average man don't give a shit about that. So if you want men to watch a product that you're pushing, you're going to have to cater more to what men want to watch. That's just an obvious business thing, right? In the WNBA, they don't do that. And I think they've done a good job of capturing the audience that they do have. I think because if you look, the WNBA started, in 1998, 99? So, I mean, it's as popular as it's ever been. However, when you compare it to the NBA, man, it ain't even close. It ain't even close. It ain't close. Because why? The NBA has better product on the floor. At the end of the day, I want to see Russell Westbrook dunk on somebody. Y'all know me, how I feel about Russell Westbrook. I want to watch that over back cuts and layups. Sorry. And I'm a person who understands the basketball game at a relatively high level, I would say. But think about what the average fan who just doesn't really know the game like that, you want to see action. You're not getting that in the WNBA game. I'm sorry. One thing Hoop Jargon gonna do is Hoop Jargon gonna keep it real. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and just tell you something, just be telling you something. I feel like that's very disingenuous. And so, I mean, let's be frank. It's not that good of a product. So to tie it back to what we're talking about, when she's going on this rant about some coach calling her overweight, that just makes your product look weaker. That'd be different. I ain't gonna lie, man. Brittany Griner kind of had me back looking at women's sports a little bit because she was dunking in high school. And so I do, when I get a chance to check out Brittany Griner doing something, I will look. But other than that, not really. WNBA just ain't for me. And then most guys are like me. You understand what I'm saying? So I just think that a lot of women in this position, like Liz, she should think about the big picture. Now, I know a lot of women struggle with this. A lot of y'all struggle with big picture. Y'all worry about right now. But the problem is that most guys generally are forward thinkers, meaning they can kind of see the writing on the wall. If you're making this, situation with a coach calling you overweight into a racial thing, a disrespect thing, you're going too fucking far. And in the moment, you may get all the pats on the back from your teammates. You go, girl, everybody gonna tweet you and big you up. That's cool. But those are the people who are already fans of you who are not going anywhere. When you think about and then I'm sure if you set Liz down and ask her about pay between the NBA and the WNBA, I'm sure she will have issue that they get paid substantially less and they got to go play overseas after their season's over to kind of make good to really good money. And I'm not mad at them being upset about that, but you can't be upset if you're propagating a product that is not garnering fans outside the normal, what they call your warm market. Basically, let's just call it, I'm not going to call a buck what a buck is, but homosexual women who are athletes, they tend to like the WNBA. So they're naturally going to back you. Highly liberal, usually tatted up, nose ring and all that shit. That's who's going to patronize your product. So if you want to step outside of that, you got to understand that you're going to alienate people when you do certain stuff. And for lack of better words, you're acting like a little girl. You understand what I'm saying? Men understand with sports is highly competitive. Anything goes. And when you try to water it down to that level, some people may say devolve it down to that level. You got to understand that a lot of men are not going to be on board with that product. Zion gets called fat all the time. Yes, before he even got drafted, he going to go down to New Orleans, eat all them big gays and stuff. He going to just blow up. Man, come on, man. You see him bitch about that one time? No. Everybody call him a little fat boy. Everybody. Oliver Miller, Charles Barkley catch that heat. Like I said, Shaq. You name it, man. Everybody. When Sean Kemp got fat, you see Sean Kemp going out and bitching about people calling him fat. You got to live with it. You got to live with it. Joe said, you're right. They're going to have a few of the dunkers catch more fast breaks, but the defense look believable. Well, because, we want to see action. That's why sports exist. That's why games like soccer don't do well in this country because it's too methodical. We want to see action. We'll watch football. That's why football is the most popular sport in this country, and it ain't going to change. That's why. 9 Days of Victory says, can she play? From what I understand, she can. I think she got drafted like 2 years ago. I think she's a relatively young player. Let me double check that. Because I'm admittedly not a big WNBA fan. Again, it just don't appeal to me. But I don't want to. One thing I try not to do is take anything away from an actual player, man, because you work at your craft hard. I do want that to be known, even though I don't give a shit about the WNBA like that. I still do want to. I do want to let people know that them coming to work, doing what they do every day, that's not an easy job, man. That's not an easy job. Now she been in the league almost. She's 29. Let's check her stats out. Interesting. She look relatively young. She's a bigger girl though, a little burly. So she's from England, apparently. So she won the WNBA Peak Performer in 2018. I don't know what the fuck that means. WNBA All First Team, that's very impressive. All Second Team. WNBA Leading Scorer in 2018, that's impressive. WNBA All Rookie in 2011. 3-time All-Star, 2-time WNBL. So it must be an overseas league, world champion. She also won the MVP in that league. So as far as her WNBA stats, ain't gonna lie, it's a big girl, dog. She's a big woman. I don't know why she's so upset. That's a big woman, man. All right, so she can hoop. Her career has shown that she can hoop. Last year, she put up, 2019, she put up 16 and 8. Year before that, 23 and 10. In the playoffs, she's a 22 plus per game scorer. She can hoop. She can hoop. So we can. This ain't no scrub talking. AD says, I actually do get annoyed with this why WNBA players don't get paid more narrative. Yeah, because it's silly. It's a silly argument. And again, on this platform, I don't sugarcoat shit. I don't tell you something just to be telling you something. It's a silly argument. There's no way you can debate that you should get paid more because you play at a high level, which I don't refute that one bit. But if your sport does not generate within not even an iota of what the NBA does, then you won't get paid the same. Sorry. That's like telling a damn a garbage man that because he worked hard, that the county clerk who works for the city as well gets paid way more than him. It's about your importance of your job and who feeds you the money. That's all that matters. It's not about what you feel you should get. It's about how does your job, how does the people who pay you your money deem the relevancy of your job? So if you're in the WNBA and you're getting a tenth of the viewership of what an NBA player does, you don't get a tenth of the salary. I mean, I don't understand where they think this money gonna come from to pay them the same as NBA players. Like, what do they expect? I just don't. I don't understand it fundamentally at all of what the argument is. Besides, you feel you should get paid more. I feel I should get paid more. Everybody feels they should get paid more. Has everyone forgotten how business actually works? Absolutely. That's normal business stuff. Like, there has to be a connection between the revenue taken in when you're paying out other people's salaries and then paying the talent. Like, that's just how business works. I've heard reports that the WNBA is a barely surviving entity. I don't know how true that is, so I won't repeat something that I have not verified myself. But if that's the case, I mean, shit, it's barely staying above water. I mean, what do you expect? What do you expect? But again, I don't know it to be so. I've not looked at it. I just heard that as a talking point for someone else. But I mean, I think we all can watch a WNBA game pre-COVID and see that you're not getting the patronage. I mean, they do put the reports out. They're not getting the viewership. They're not getting the premium slots. WNBA games go on like at 2:00 during Tuesday and shit. it's a, and I'm not mad at it, man, because I mean, you got to find some timeshare, some revenue share on that airspace. I mean, because there's a lot of shit out there to compete with. So I'm not ridiculing the league, but I am saying when you do shit like this, it's a joke. It's a joke. And the consumers that you say you want to come in and help build your salaries, when they see this, they see it more of a joke. I'm more taking the Kevin Samuels approach, man. I don't care if you don't want to hear it. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. That's how we roll over here in Hoop Jargon, man. I'm not going to sit here and coddle to you. So that's why Coach Miller, he got this little mea culpa going on right now. He got to apologize his ass off because she hit him on two levels. She hit him on the sexism and the racialist thing. And that is the worst place to be in that box, man. The WNBA as a male coach, when it's insinuated that you are being quasi-racist or you're body shaming. That's not where you want to be, man. As we all understand, the WNBA is very woke, it's very liberal and modern. You don't get to speak authoritatively in that league and get away with that shit, especially not being no damn man. And y'all see what happened to that young lady, Candace Wiggins, man. She left the WNBA because she's talking about they promoted lesbianism and she wasn't down with that shit. You know, she was not met favorably with her views on that. So y'all know how that camp rolls, man. All right, as an older player, maintaining a certain way is important if you want a long career. Y'all, it definitely is. Like I said, she's a big girl, man. So I wonder what her body, what her muscle index is. So I do wonder that. But yeah, if you watch me, she's a big girl. Like, y'all Google her. Liz Cambage. She's a big woman, man. All right, it's going to take more than getting NBA players endorsed NBA players to make money. Of course. You know what? And that's called like a token gesture. When these WNBA players, these NBA players start to look out for their little sisters or their little concubines, or however you want to slight that out. It depends on, hey, I don't want to start no rumors. But when they do shit like that, it's half-hearted. Them dudes don't watch WNBA like that. I bet my bottom dollar. I bet my freaking bottom dollar. But I think, again, most men can kind of see through that. It's like, all right, you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're trying to show love to your what they call them, your constituency. But nah, bro, like, them dudes don't watch that shit like that. You better believe that. It's a token gesture. Bro, you roll today. Appreciate it, DJ, man. Shout out to DJ Ron Cup, man. Y'all subscribe to my boy. He just recently got to 4K subscribers. So if y'all have not done so already, as a president of new media, so that's what we're doing out here. So yeah, man. So it's just funny to sit back and see how the WNBA moves and how they want respect, and they don't move in a respectful manner as far as bringing in male patrons. So as a male patron, I choose not to observe it like that. Sorry. And most dudes feel like me, and y'all know somebody on here call me out if I'm lying. Call me out if I'm lying. I can't pick a side because I don't know the context in which it was said. Well, I'm not even picking a side. I'm just saying it just makes you look weak. And I acknowledged earlier that I understand her getting upset. Like in the heat of battle, you don't get shit from no opposite coach. As far as critique from you, like in the analogy I made, the coach could say, "Man, you run slow." I'd be furious in the heat of battle. When I got to the locker room, I'd be like, okay, well, he just trying to get in my head. I understand that. But in the heat of battle, I ain't trying to hear that shit. So I'm with her with that initial line of thinking. I get that. But when you're trying to make it to something else, to be something else after you got a chance to cool down, now you're like grandstanding now. You're like peacocking. And now you're trying to push some other agenda across. And I'm not with that shit. I'm not with that shit. I'm sorry. So, yeah, so I just hope, both parties can lead the situation better because at the end of the day, man, if you have a strong product, you got to have strong characters in your product. In the WNBA, I just think things like this is not a good look. It's not how you get men to come over and watch your product. Heterosexual men we're talking about. This is not the right approach. So I would just tell her again to put her big girl shorts on. And I understand you're upset because nobody wants you anything negative about them. But at the same time, this makes you look weak as shit, man. You look weak as shit. All the stuff is, we all been to a sporting event before. We know how I get down in men's sports. So if a coach said you look overweight or like saying that she's 300 pounds, why does she not get a foul call on her? And that upsets you to where you go on this rant and all this shit. Weak sauce, man. Weak sauce. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I sit back and just shake my head like, here y'all go with this shit again. And then again, y'all try to pitch it, the equality thing with the equal pay. And I'm looking just like, nope. This ain't how you get it, dog. This ain't how you get it, dog. You gotta put those big girl shorts on, man, because there are so many hoopers, and I let in naming some of them in the WNBA. Naming, one of my friends, Cynthia Cooper. Like I respect hoopers, I do. I don't care what gender you are. If you can hoop, I respect what you do. But when you go out there acting like a little B.I., I'm sorry, we'll call that shit out because I don't respect that. I don't respect it. You know what you signed up for, man. You know what you signed up for playing professional sports. All right, so she has to be tougher. She can't be a regular woman in her sport. Of course. Of course. How do you want me, the consumer, to like your brand, to like who you are, and a coach say you fat and you losing your shit? No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'd rather not watch that shit. So I won't have an opinion on it, so I won't get caught in that bullshit. So, to kind of put the nice little bow or to land the plane as Bernard, man, damn, I can't think his last name. Bernard Riley, great brother to look at in the Black manosphere. To land the plane, I just want to say that, she's going to have, like Big Spell said, Big Spell put it like in its proper context, man. You got to put some big girl pants on. You got to grow the hell up, man, because at the end of the day, this is not a good look for your product. At the end of the day, for those who, like me, who don't watch a lot of WNBA, when I see a headline like this makes me it makes me more off-put to even look at it, to be frank about it. AD says they don't want respect. They want a handout. And I can't speak for all women hooping out there, but I think a lot of women in that liberal sphere or modern sphere, they do want handouts. I agree with that. I don't know exactly if that's her in this case. I don't want to say that about her, but that is a very common thing you see amongst people who are like her. I will give you that. I want to see, Joseph says, I want a women's all-star team versus the men's all-star team. Said, oh, man. You ever seen a pit bull fight a poodle? I tell you what, man. In theory, I would love that to just shut that argument down. But it would be so much posturing, man. It would be so much bullshit. Because you got to think about people who think like that. They would get their ass pounded and then make an excuse. So you wouldn't really gain ground with that. They're like, well, you're a male. Your body's bigger and stronger than me. Oh, I'm bigger and stronger now, huh? After you got your ass whooped. But before then, we were equal, huh? So it's like, it's almost like a little kid, man. Like a little kid, you can just. So I used to coach. I told y'all middle school. Some of my kids would come up to me like, Coach, man, I'm faster than you. Man, Coach, I'll dunk on you and all this. Like, Coach, I'll beat you one-on-one. I'll be like, dog, you don't want these problems, man. Like I'm gonna dog you out. And some of them, most of them back off, but the one who really wanted, I gave it to him. I gave it to him good. And then they go, man, no, cause you tired, Coach. Motherfucker, you know I was 6'7" before you challenged me. So I akin that type of mentality to a lot of how women are who think you're better than a man. I would akin the same way. After you lose, you're gonna make an excuse. So I don't see the point. I just think, well, in a perfect world for me, I wish people would just be realistic. If you were realistic, I think things would go a lot more smoothly, but I understand why people are not realistic because to kind of garner attention, you got to be unrealistic. You got to overstate things. You got to oversimplify things. And that gets you attention. You understand what I'm saying? So their attention is talking, not action. Because if it's about that action, you play against 5-on-5, WNBA best 5 versus the WNBA. Come on, man. What are we talking about here? All right, Big Spell says crazy with all the feminist movement going on. You would think WNBA players should be making millions. Well, that feminism wave kind of gets funneled into Black Lives Matter. So the political sphere is benefiting from that. So I think it's funny. Black Lives Matter as pure as it's supposed to be. They know that that's a dead investment putting that money into the WNBA. They know it's a dead investment. You're not going to get a return on that. And you see one of the founders got caught up misappropriating funds and shit. So I see everything for what it is. I see game for what game is. And I don't depart from it because it's game, dog. It ain't real. It's game. So, and I went through a whole little spiel about Black Lives Matter. Look at their website about what we're about. And you see, you as a heterosexual man, you tell me if you fit in that manifesto. And the answer is absolutely not. So, but, I'll leave that alone. Yeah, you would think that would be the case. However, Black Lives Matter will have to align with them, and they know again that that's not a fruitful investment to align with the WNBA, man. Liz bad as hell. I don't give a fuck. You trash and Madden, by the way. All right. I wouldn't call her bad. I think she's kind of attractive. If that's what you like, that's what you like. I'm just being real. But that's bad to you. That's cool. Yes, I'm very trash at Madden. that is facts. I got my ways when I'm good sometimes, but sometimes, for the most part, I'm pretty bad at Madden. I'm good at NBA 2K, though. But I play Madden because the homies from college like to get on, so I get on and play with the homies. But yeah, I don't know where you understand that bad as hell. Candace Parker bad as hell. What's the little shorty from Notre Dame? Damn it. She bad as hell. It's another little new one who just got drafted. Fine as hell. Dee from Baylor. I forget her last name. She bad as hell. Her mama bad too. You ever seen Dee? God damn it, Richards. Dee Richards. Her mother, boy, brick house. So I mean, it ain't nothing but a handful of bad as hell WNBA players. Skylar Diggins. Yeah, there we go. Skylar Diggins is bad as hell. But it ain't too much bad as hell in WNBA. I think we all can understand that. I think we all can understand that. Plus, I don't think the average females enjoys watching other females play. Well, they may. I'm not going to dispute that. I just know that if you gave the average female the opportunity to watch men and women's basketball, man, it's irrefutable that they watch men's basketball. It's better action. It is what it is. All through college. I mean, you can go to damn near any campus beside like a handful. So a handful, we talking. Well, not even Baylor anymore. Baylor has caught up to women's basketball. So let's say, I can't even say UConn. Maybe South Carolina, who's really good in Maryland, perhaps. You can go and have more people at a women's game than a men's game. I don't care how good the girls' team is. Usually it's the other way around. Maybe Tennessee, in their heyday, drew bigger than the men. But other than that, I mean, come on, man. Let's be for real. The average woman will want to watch NBA basketball or WNBA. I think we all can understand that. So, to your point, I would just kind of put that little caveat on it. So, That's all I got, man. So appreciate y'all with the comments, man. Sub to the channel if you have not done so already. I'm 190 subscribers away from glory. And so I hope hope everything works out for Liz, man. I don't want to be here to lambaste her or what have you. I just think that that's weak sauce with she on right now, because if you play sports, you understand that just comes with the territory, man. And that's just, it is what it is, and it won't change. That's the world. That's the world that we know it as, man. And so the world's going to be the world. So I hope she gets her thing together, because she is a hooper. I think we all discovered that. And I wish the best for her. I really do, man. I don't care for the sport per se, but I do wish the best for her. I mean, anybody out there working hard, performing in front of other people, man, I know it's not an easy thing to do. And I do salute you in that capacity. I just think, I mean, if a coach calling you fat and you're going making this a racial and a sexist thing, I just think you need to check yourself, man. That's all I got. Till next time, y'all. Peace.